I learned recently that thanks to Canaanland Moors, because he made a video about me.
Just in case people don't check the community page. So we found our friend Kurimeo, his biography up here. He's from South America, Costa Rica to be exact. Moved to Boston, lived there for a while. What's interesting is right here, there's his pops right there playing the guitar. What non-studied people don't know is that the Moors introduced the guitar. So what type of sellout is this guy? Right here. The son of a Latin bolero singer and guitarist. Kurimeo learned early to appreciate and have a passion for music and the arts. Who brought music and the arts to the world? Yes, the Moors. What was his dad doing? His dad was a guitarist. Where'd the guitar come from? The guitar came from the Moors. What type of sellout do you have to be making these BS videos about Moors? Making these BS videos about Moors when your father was in a band where they played the Moorish instrument. Isn't that called selling out your own? Isn't that called not honoring your father and mother so your days could be long on the earthland? There's the band, Larandala Tika. Look at that. All of them playing Moorish guitars. Now, if this is Kurimeo's father's band, why is it? They even have the Moorish waist tie. See that red band across the stomach? That's Moorish. You see that guy in the middle? The sash? That's Moorish. See all those guitars? That's Moorish. How come all these guys talking BS about Moors when their ancestors, there's Kurimeo's dad right there, their ancestors honored Moorish culture? And look at what these sellouts are doing today. Selling out their own and hoping you sell out with them under the guise of you're ignorant. We got you, Kurimeo. Your dad played a Moorish guitar. Now what?
But he just made himself look foolish because he didn't even address any of the info in 6 videos that I presented, right? So what kind of you guys just sound like you're mad.
Why don't you get the fuck out of here?
Chris V. Still get it from the intellect reservoir, cosmic surfing. These two sons of God didn't come from virgins. Ether makes up these gods. We rode light angles to the earth plane. Again trapped in skin, but a different name. Monads, been here since Ruth and Moabs. Thought you killed me when Drew and Marcus got toe tagged. That's why I'm here with the Grand Chairman of Fear. Truth make you think critical like Sabir. Doing the God things, I make ancients appear. And all I'm hearing is knocking while I'm watching a seer. Ancient rituals and sound healing notes through Pro Tools. Eye to eye transfers knowledge, you need no schools. Waking up the masses, music is classes stage. Most fail cause they look like the flying shades. Following demons possess Kanye's and Lil Wayne's. Expecting a hippie with a cross and a Greek name. Inner melanin cause me D&B to link up with no cheese. Orisha's in me, I'm not what you don't see. I'm not one of those armchair revolutionaries. Allah's in me, sick and tired of being sick and tired, but that's just where we get our strength, man. The Christ is in me. I'm not a hustler, pimp, gangster, wankster, but trust me, they all in
I
me.
got it when the moon shifted the tomb in the melanated womb, sipping milk in the honeydew and triple black boom. Touchdown, traveling on planet Earth where we crush clowns, while I'm managing this curse and preparing the elixir that turns copycats into kitty litter. These poor pussies pretending to be misters. I cannot sin, but I can be very sinister. My limitations are limited as I do a lap around the galaxy. Had to gather light and rally back and fuck the fallacy. And cause of that, I got labeled the antagonist. And it didn't help that I cuss and bun cannabis and bun candles and wear symbols of Orishas. And I put a hex on the heads of 7 preachers with 1 trailer spit aimed at the pulpit. Crushed a crucifix, a whole tabernacle backflip. I'm not Catholic, but if I choose my bare resonance, you may just catch a glimpse of Lucifer's semblance. Up and down Jacob's ladder with my melanin, the vessel of no fear none. You can find the devil in.
God's in me, I say that so serious. Turn a nigga to a god, show you I'm serious. Got him proclaiming, name changing and facing with no guilt or fear. All these clansmen masons, we stand on squares, circumscribe our own circumference. Goddess Lakshmi bless me with abundance of prosperity. I speak with clarity, not to confuse. Put Moorish in front everything from Christian to Jews. I'm the anchor, so I don't listen to news on some snail type vibrations making me snooze. Calling a Parker to call down our UFO crews. Like Yahweh or Dogon shamans, we call on Ra Amen. For sun ritual, spiritual, I'm physically trapped. Rewind, play back, and get your pineal tapped. Like Gregory Hines, when I'm spitting the rhymes. A&Rs want me to blow, but all rights reserved when we sign. In the melanin calls me D&V, the link up with no cheese. Orisha's in me, I'm not what you don't see. I'm not one of those armchair revolutionaries. Allah's in me, sick and tired of being sick and tired, but that's just where we get our strength, man. The Christ is in me. I'm not a hustler, pimp, gangster, wankster, but trust me, they all in me.
Alright, so let's pour the libations on the Gumus, Olensu, Shumala, Okija, Chiaja, Cheoa, Alcala, Locayo, Kakambo, La Lila. I need some halala shades. Issa, Manu, Noku, Mana, Imatu, Tuti, Juba, Jova, Exati, Kasimbo, Nizaba, Isala, Avilu Kaya, Pazuzu, Zuba, Nubaresh, Babylonia, Ida, Ayo, Emily, Dragon, Notoyo, Manu, Neptune, Nisu, Yahalo, Planet, Lax.
Strike?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let me pull this up, man, and show these images and information that we've been going over. It's a very, very powerful image also that that's on the thumbnail of part 6, No More Hijack. And it's very interesting, and I've been asking our Moorish brothers and sisters, how did the feds go from a shape like this, you see it, how did it go from the night stalking or the Santa Claus hat, or you know when Christmas comes you put your stocking over the chimney, you know what I'm saying, and it's shaped like a sock. Like how did that sock like hat, or I often call it a dunce hat, how did it go from that to a fez or to a bucket and they all go mute. They go silence. I even had one more say, "Oh, your question is colorful."
Get the fuck out of here.
When you look over to the pyramid side, this is the base of the pyramid will be right here. All right. When you look at the eye would be here, and this is the 360-degree rays of the sun.
Go into the history of the Klan, but in order to put that in context, we have to give you the history of modern-day secret societies altogether.
Now, are you saying that the Klan is a secret society?
It's a very advanced secret society. That's the reason why we can't draw the parallel, because we always have these rednecks etched in our mind. And as a result, we don't understand that the secret society has its origin in the Moorish system. As a matter of fact, the actual outfits that the Klan wear, I'm not talking about the ones where you see somebody cut some holes in some sheets, but I'm talking about the real Grandmaster outfits, and the ones that's really done up with, you know, with the actual cross and the robe with the cape and the pine cone hat. That's all Egyptian initiation outfits brought up into Europe by the Moors. And so in order to give you a history of that and a history of what the Klan is, as well as a history of basically how they operate now, we have to give you the general history of modern-day Masonic organizations, as well as a prehistory or a little bit of history on some other aspects of the Moors and how this whole thing came about as far as how it started. So we need to go into some of that too. So I'm ready when you are.
Let's roll back.
Okay. In order to do this, we need to understand a little more about the Moors and the concept and that basically what was the divine plan. The Moors are nothing but a consortium of Camite Egyptians. For the people that don't know what Camite mean, or Kemet, or Camite, or Egyptian priesthood, mainly the temple of Komombo in Egypt, or Kemet, the temple of Isis, or Aset, the last temple of Isis, which was one of the last temples to be closed at Philae.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, your answer was nothing. I get no answer. No one tells me how they went from this hat that represents their true origin to the square-like shape. And the insult to injury that I have found, before we start going in on the images, man, every single image around the world, rather it's Easter Island, rather it's Menkaure or somebody wearing a hat in Egypt, which goes all the way around, cuffs all the way around the head and sits on the back of the neck.
Professor Drew, the Egyptian adept, student. The Egyptian adept, student. The adept student. So learning never ends. Learning is continuous. Just like this culture that we talk about, that's over here, and over there, and then back over here again. Right? And this is for all the chematologists or whatever who like to pretend that they're not Moors. You know, ancient Egypt and all that. But they don't want to accept the fact that they're Moors. Next. The acorn. Acorns have a deep and rich symbolism in Druidry, which we know as Moors. Right? Now, why would Egyptians, ancient Egyptians, Kemetans, whatever, Nubians, whatever, why would they depict themselves with acorns on their head if it doesn't represent something? Why would that be in stone? That they have the acorn on their head. And then all the chematologists will just stick to the fact, well, it's just an acorn on their head, That's just something in hieroglyphics, it's nothing really. But really and truly, the acorn represents the fez.
Yes.
The acorn represents the pineal gland. The acorn represents man reaching deific life.
Yes.
Right? But in case they don't want to go with that, we'll go to Wallace Budge Hieroglyphic Dictionary. Who's on to sis?
Yes.
Right? Hieroglyphic Dictionary, M-A-U-R, which spells more. And more is the title of the high priest of Anu. But the chematologist people are not going to say that they're Moors. They're not going to proclaim their nationality. They're not going to recognize Noble Juali. Right? The Nebamuntu frescoes with these clearly are not acorns on their head. This is in ancient Egypt. But they're going to keep playing their game that they're not Moors.
And Greek philosophy was identical, and that Greek philosophy grew out of the Egyptian mysteries. 4. How the African continent gave its culture to the Western world. As mentioned elsewhere, the Egyptian mysteries and the philosophical schools of Greece were closed by the edicts of Theodosius in the 4th century AD and that of Justinian in the 6th century AD, i.e. 529. And as a consequence, intellectual darkness spread over Christian Europe and the Greco-Roman world for 10 centuries, during which time knowledge had disappeared. As stated elsewhere, the Greeks showed no creative powers and were unable to improve upon the knowledge which they had received from the Egyptians. During the Persian, Greek, and Roman invasions, large numbers of Egyptians fled not only to the desert and mountain regions, but also to adjacent lands in Africa, Arabia, and Asia Minor, where they lived and secretly deployed the teachings which belonged to their mystery system. In the 8th century AD, the Moors, i.e. natives of Mauritania in North Africa, invaded Spain and took with them the Egyptian culture which they had preserved.
When you look over to the pyramid side, this is the base of the pyramid will be right here. Alright, when you look at the eye would be here, and this is the 360-degree rays of the sun.
Knowledge in the ancient days was centralized, i.e. it belonged to a common parent and system, i.e. the wisdom teachings or mysteries of Egypt, which the Greeks used to call Sophia. As such, the people of North Africa were the neighbors of the Egyptians and became the custodians of Egyptian culture.
This is the womb of woman, the nature of civilization on planet Earth and this particular solar system. There's the umbilical cord, there's the navel, there's the ball of mud called Earth, and these are degrees of the Earth rotating around the sun, representing knowledge, representing Isis, representing Horus, representing all the symbols that are said in the ancient mystery schools that are actually the powers of the universe. And that's really what it is. And when you graduate with what they call a mortar board in school, and they give you a geometric duplication of this that they call a mortar board, which is masonry, split into 4 parts, and you throw it 190 degrees, 180 degrees when you graduate, because it represents number 1 figure, the crown of the earth. And Fez is actually Marrakesh, Morocco, the real government on the planet Earth.
There's also holes inside of it, 3-dimensional holes, and it has a certain degree of numbers. and it also has a particular height. And each one of them are to be studied so they give you a knowledge of the inner workings of the dimensions within inside yourself, and then you can express it on the outer parts by showing the application to the sides.
Really, the dual trine, or what you call Shield of Solomon, which is the dual trine that you call, some people call it Jewish star, but there's no such thing. It's hex alpha. All right, that which is above, so is below, etc. That's what they actually stand for, and you are to master that, and that is the universe. All right.
During their occupation of Spain, the Moors displayed with considerable credit the grandeur of African culture and civilization. The schools and libraries which they established became famous throughout the medieval world. Science and learning were cultivated and taught. The schools of Cordova, Toledo, Seville, and Saragossa attained such celebrity that they, like their parent Egypt, attracted students from all parts of the Western world, and from them arose the most famous African professors that the world has ever known in medicine, surgery, astronomy, and mathematics. But these people from North Africa did more than merely distinguish themselves in Spain. They were really the recognized custodians of African culture, to whom the world looked for enlightenment. To whom the world looked for enlightenment. To whom the world looked for enlightenment. Just here it would be well to mention that all the great leaders of the great religions of antiquity were initiates of the Egyptian mystery system. From Moses, who was an Egyptian hieroglyphic, down to Christ. It should also be of interest to know that European scientists like Roger Bacon, Johannes Kepler, Copernicus, and others obtained their science through Arab or Berber sources. It is also noteworthy that through the Middle Ages, European knowledge of medicine came from these sources.
But I just want to talk about what Lotus was talking about just now, right? Because he was letting you know that, you know, like Medicine Man just showed, most of Europe was all dark-skinned people. You can call them Moors if you want to use it as a descriptive term. But what I notice all the time, people who kind of always promoting the whole Moor thing, they always try to blame it on a specific people, a specific complexion too. Like only white people did this and only the Europeans and Christians. But Lotus just let you know, I mean, the reality is, we know Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, right, was a so-called Negro person, right? And you know, he ruled the Vatican. We know the Vatican had a lot to do with the creation of Islam. I mean, we're gonna show this, you know. I mean, like, I'm gonna show this definitely in future videos, or if not today.
Get the fuck out of here!
Is the truth that the Catholic Church formed Islam and trained Muhammad as a way of deceiving people? I've seen a few YouTube videos claiming this and want to know if there is any fact behind it. Thank you, Leanne. Leanne is a great question. Rabbi, you feel like tackling this one?
It's one of the crazier ideas. And I just would say to you that whoever staked out such a claim, make sure never to study anything that person teaches, because there's nothing could be more ridiculous.
Conversation's over.
You sat down and you attacked the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in peace, but you don't. You got an agenda.
Moors are men upright, independent and fearless. Dogmatized dirty Moors, tongues cut out left earless, cause they never listen. Dirty Moors, keep up your slander. Wu-Tang torture in your ass, hot hangers. Kidnappers, dirty Moor, torture him like Saw. 3D, 0.5 or 1 through 4, or get it like 5 or 6 with a fez on jigsaw. Leather face in a turban, rip Dirty Moore's lips off. Disrespecting the mother Raz Mariah Bay. Wrap him up like double crochet, the barbed wire way. Throw him off a bridge or feed him to the piranhas. Yellow journalist Moore spread nothing but propaganda. Idi Amin Bay, treat the temple like Uganda. Dirty Moors like foreigners, crushed to dust like ganja. Not worthy of being Moors, we call them dirty Nehesus. Solomon Seal spell command 72 demons to get you.
This is what the temple guys actually said. That Canaanland is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger. Yo, it's ignorance, man. I mean, come on, you're talking about the same landmass. Canaanland is actually bigger than the landmass they know as the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they can just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion.
You might hear horse voices, see frog faces, and who's for feet. Demons we run with, spit fire with gold wolf teeth. Keep playing, forget back teeth. New Moors are an issue, get Ginsu. Maybe a dream visit from Vishnu, a nightmare to never end and always continue. Cold as an igloo, dealing with my trust issues through vigilance. Active Moors are militants. SPLC Dirty Moors call that sovereign citizen. Lying for views, they notice all the empty pews. Benz need gas and fixing, but not enough dues. Pigpen Bays sell you out for peanuts, claiming that we nuts for teaching birthright street level, keeping it beat nuts.
To any members of the MSTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the MSTA. I got issues with
Keep it Kendrick Lamar, stay surrounded by feathers. Dirty's guilty of fraud if Drew Ali scrutinized their ledgers. Getting proclamations from Morocco, disrespect us. Corporate city only recognize people's court jesters. Hand in their back, Moorish puppets and minions. Never get the human rights recognition like Moors near Virginia. Commonwealth, for active Moors knowledge the Commonwealth. Dirties claim more, but really on the straw man health. Authenticating a birth certificate, that's not significant. Civil little more two status syndicates. In more face, watch them two more status Indians claiming Turtle Island are lying, so intricate.
Long days and long nights, but this message needed to be heard.